Hi, YouTube. Harmon, what's up? What is up, my friends? I know, twice in one day, man. John, Daniel, Dennis, Gary. I probably made a few people mad with that last video. Mike, what's up? Big Rich, how's it going? Solid Air, John Cater. So, Matt Grady, what's up? Rhymes, how's it going? Snowman. Dre, what's up? Pale Rider's in the house. Rob's in the house. Texas Future Truckers in the house. So, if any of you follow me on Periscope, John Capone says your last video was spot on. Snorlax can agree with you more. Yeah, well, I don't know much. I know a little bit. Introvert is with me. She says what's up too. What's up, Introvert? Thought that last video you guys did was cute. I bet you guys are a fun couple to hang out with. So, let's get to the topic, right? So, Matt Grady says, I enjoyed your last video. I'm not in E-Logs yet, kind of nervous. It's going to take a minute. You know, here's the thing, Matt, and this video is not really about E-Logs, but I'll touch on the subject. Load planning and scheduling has got to have it together. The shippers and receivers are not going to make it easy. A lot of them are adjusting to the fact that everybody is, you know, a lot of people are on E-Logs. But for the most part, you know, there's still places like say, like there's a customer I used to deliver to with my old company in Dallas, a certain pharmacy, who are notorious for 6 to 7 hour unloads. Not 8 hours to do a sleeper berth, but 6 or 7 hours. And they have all this parking. You can land a 747 in their parking lot, yet you can't park here. One time I was there. This is a little trick, guys, okay? In order to get to that 8th hour, what I did is I opened my hood up, right? And I just sat there. And, David, I'll address that here in a second. And so what I did is I opened the hood up and told them that the truck won't start and that there's somebody on the way, right? So when the 8th hour occurred, I closed the hood up, started the truck up, and then told the guard, yeah, it started right up, you know. The mechanic from home told me what to do. David, I agree with you. David says, I still feel that E-Logs should be volunteer. I agree with you, man. I really do. I'm not, you know, here's the thing. I'm not pro E-Logs. I'm just saying that the majority of the regulations that we have has been brought on by ourselves. So, Big Yeti, what's up? Outlaw, shippers, receivers need to stop being so greedy with their parking. I agree, Outlaw. And a few of the normal customers I go to, they've started to allow parking. You know, whereas before they didn't. James, what's up? Larry Fisher. It's true, us truckers are yep, are in trouble, yeah. So, okay, so there's a lot of negativity in the Schneider world right now. And there are people leaving in droves. Everybody's nervous about the new contract coming up in the next couple of months. Freight has shifted. The long haul stuff is paying higher and the short haul stuff is paying lower. And I'm going to ignore the comments for a minute, guys, so bear with me. If you're used to running certain areas or certain loads, it's become a little bit of a challenge. But if you got a little bit of versatility and you're willing to make a couple of sacrifices here and there, it hasn't been too bad. I've had one of the best months that I've had in a while, so it could be doable. But see, here's the thing. With everybody leaving, it's kind of made the load board kind of weird because, like, this guy that left that ran these loads is no longer there. So now all these loads are popping up that you would normally see, that you wouldn't normally see. So there was, if you follow me on Periscope, there was a guy that went on there. He's a guy I went to orientation with at Schneider, okay? He's now a Landstar driver. He got rid of his Schneider finance truck and bought this $30,000 Freightliner and went to Landstar. And he's hooked up with this agent that does Amazon freight. Killer rates, man. Killer rates. I told him, I said, man, if I had that agent in my pocket, I'd still be over there. And he made a big deal about a guy named David Hawkins that is in the Facebook groups at Schneider, and he's been here like 12 years. He's like longer than Jeffrey Light was. And he finally left. He went to Landstar. And so he got on Periscope and made a big deal about that and started talking about the orange Kool-Aid drinkers and then he was like, well, all you Schneider orange Kool-Aid drinkers, don't bother coming over here. We don't want you. And then, proceeded to brag about all this freight, all this money he's doing, all this stuff, And it brought something to my attention. Let me grab a calculator here. See, the way our load board is set up, okay? Our gross number is after Schneider's taking their 35%, okay? But at Landstar, or say a company like Traveloka, or a company like Green Miles, the percentage, when you see the gross numbers, when you hear guys brag about the gross numbers, there's a higher number. For example, if you see a load that says it pays the driver $3,000, $3,000, you got to times it 0.65. That's $19.50. Okay. 48%. Well, TJ, I'm going with what the contract says.
Location has been updated.
That's the load I just booked. So, hey Henry Bob. So, gross doesn't mean squat. Exactly, Robert Gonzalez. Here's the thing. If you guys have followed Ike Stevens, he did a Patreon video, which has now been made public, and he talked about how he was told the wrong numbers on the fixed costs, okay? And it brings me to the point, because there's a lot of Schneider guys that went over to Traveloka based off of the recruiting style of Ike Stevens, Little Dog, and Trucker's Coach, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with bettering yourself, okay? But what Ike has found out, that there's higher fixed costs, and there's a bigger headache with booking your own freight that's not a click and go system, okay? And I don't fault Ike for that at all. I have no issues with Ike whatsoever, okay? There's a lot of Schneider guys that go over to Landstar that find out the same reality. Okay, now you can sit there like, well, I can negotiate rates and all that stuff, but you don't realize the amount of work it takes to make all these phone calls, to make all these relationships, to not get yourself blacklisted with different agents and different brokers and everything. That's one thing that I wanted to talk about, okay? Number two, and I'll get to the comments, I promise. Okay, number two, spot market freight. Someone asked me, what's the difference between what Schneider does and what Landstar does? Or what does Schneider do, what does Traveloka do, okay? Traveloka is spot market freight. That's the load boards. Any contracts that have been made are with the brokers, and those numbers fluctuate all the time, okay? Our stuff is a little bit more consistent. While we don't have the high peaks and the low valleys. We don't, it's all kind of steady, okay? The load that I delivered this morning pays $40 more than it did 2 months ago, okay? But it's pretty steady. I'm making consistent money here. Landstar was feast or famine for me. And here's where I'm getting. This is what I'm getting to, okay? Lafayette the Great, you just hit the nail on the head. He says the spot market is about to get cold for the winter. Exactly. Exactly. What are you doing to prepare for the winter? Hence the thumbnail and the title. Because when I was at Landstar, the first month was rough, but then I got a groove on. And I paid off a considerable amount of bills, and then January hit. And I knew it was going to get bad, but I didn't know how bad it was going to get. And that was when the rates tanked. Rates are up right now. Everybody's bragging about this $3 and $4 mile freight that they're doing. Is that going to last forever? No, it's not. All things will pass, whether it be good or bad. Things will never stay the same. What is the one constant thing about trucking that you can consider that is true? Is that it never stays the same. It's never going to be like it was in the 80s. It's never going to be like it was in the 90s. And there's a lot of changes going around with the corporatist world that we live in. And things are changing. The economy's changing. Everything's changing. And the true success, here's the important part, okay? The true success of a business lies how well you survive the hard times. Let that sink in. Anybody can be successful at $3 and $4 a mile freight if you're dry van or reefer. Anybody. And what happens is, and this is important too. A lot of the Landstar guys I ran with, a lot of the Landstar guys I talked to, they would, oh man, I just made $4,000 on this load. No, he actually made $2,350 or whatever. But okay, but I'm going to sit at home for the rest of the week. And then when their truck broke down, because they had a paid off truck. When the truck broke down, they had no money to fix it. And you had a lot of part-timers. A lot of guys had, oh, my truck's paid off, so, I'll just run 2 loads a week and be at home all the time, this, that, and the other. But then when it comes to starvation time, they got no money. They got no reserves. My band hasn't practiced in like 2 months because I've been trying to stay out here as much as I can to make money. Now, mind you, I've still been home a few times, but I'm trying to put my nose to the grind because you know why? Winter is coming. However, winter is not that bad here compared to the spot market. Okay? Now, the hurricanes might change that this year. That's going to change capacity. It already has. And that's why we're seeing this high spike of freight, dollar freight. However, it's not going to last, people. It's not going to last.
Task pickup empty has been deleted from stock 49,696.
Hey, I don't have to pick up an empty in Topeka. Did you hear that? Let me turn that down.
696 Del Monte pet products has been updated.
All right, we don't need to hear that. Okay, so it was insinuated that I came over here because I was lazy, that I didn't want to call brokers or agents. And that's not true. I got tired of making phone calls with no results. That was the problem I had. The regular spot market where you can work off of any load board, it's not, it's a little bit different. And the problem at Landstar of multiple load postings and third-party logistic agents that really didn't have that freight until they made the phone call, that's still there. It's still prominent. And here's the thing, people. If you're one of these Schneider guys that are planning to go to a company like Traveloco or Landstar or anybody else, a small carrier, and where you're working off load boards, it's a different ball game than what it is here. It really is. Schneider has simplified the process. Okay, yeah, I can't negotiate rates. Yeah, I can't go off other load boards. But you know what? If I do a 150-mile radius search of Indianapolis, of loads coming out of Indianapolis, there's at least 200 loads, 300 loads. That's a lot of freight. And if you work for Landstar or Traveloco or any of these companies, even like trucking, when he opens his stuff up, when he opens his numbers up, you're going to make phone call after phone call after phone call. It's a part of running a business. Driving the truck becomes secondary. You know, now you're running your business, you're running numbers, you're negotiating rates, you're running a business. You're not just driving this 40-ton death machine down the road. And come wintertime, I don't care who you work for, freight is going to slow down. Unless you're a snowplow driver or you're hauling a lot of salt, just different. But even then, everybody's fighting for the same stuff. Everybody's fighting for scraps. When my first January at Landstar, it was hard. I made it work though. I made adjustments. I did what I could, and I did all right. The second January though, I almost went under because it was feast or famine. I'd work, I'll admit to you guys, I'm not perfect. I'm not even good. Okay, check this out. I would work 2 or 3 weeks, okay, at Landstar, and like, oh crap, I got this much money in the bank. Oh, I'll just take next 2 weeks off, or I'll take the next week off. Not realizing it would take me another week just to get out of the house. This is how it was. I would get home on a Thursday, okay, and I would spend all day Thursday, most of Friday up until 5 o'clock, looking for a load, making phone calls. And most of the calls said, oh, let me check, see if I still got that load. And you wait 15 minutes. Same thing, over and over and over. And if I couldn't find anything by Friday that left out Monday, then Monday I was looking for stuff that left out Tuesday because it was already all taken. I couldn't get ahead. Knowing the things I know now, I'd probably do better over there. But here's the thing. If you're grossing $5,000 and your fixed costs are $2,500, you're netting $2,500, right? Did I do that math right? Okay. It's not about what you gross. It's about what you net. When I first talked to Ian Hanna, you guys remember him? If you follow YouTube at all, he was Tex Crowley's first Life of a Trucker series guy. I was number 7, I think. Ian was number 1. I called him, because he lived in the same area I did at the time, and we talked about Landstar, and he told me, the first thing I asked him was, what are your net numbers? Because, man, you could gross $10,000 a week, but if you've got $9,000 in fixed expenses, what good is that? All that does is put you in a higher tax bracket. And so when you got all these drivers bragging about all their gross numbers, oh, I made $6,000, I made $8,000 this week, oh, I made $7,000, I made $3,000 off this load. Those are gross numbers. Tell me the net numbers. So when you guys do research, if you Schneider guys that want to leave here, ask these, if you're thinking about going to Traveloco, ask the Traveloco guys, what are they netting? What are their costs? The difference between me and a Schneider Finance truck is that my costs are lower. So if I gross 4, I bring home 3. If they gross 4, they bring home 2. You see what I mean? There's a difference there. So, and it doesn't matter what you gross, it matters what you net. And you got to prepare for the winter because that spot market is not going to be hot all year long, especially if you got a reefer trailer, especially if you got a flatbed trailer. Like I said, the hurricane stuff is gonna help a little bit, but not much. And there's fixing to be another hurricane. I think hitting Florida soon. I think there's one supposed to hit the Northeast too. So. But that's my message to you guys. If you want to go to Traveloco, that's fine. But make sure you run the numbers first. If you want to go to Landstar, that's fine. Make sure you run the numbers first. Because their numbers are different than ours. You know, it was said to me one time, oh, here's a load on the Landstar load board that's paying, you know, $3,500. You know, when was the last time you saw a $3,500 load on the Schneider board, Steve? Never. However, if you take out your 65%, now it's $2,275. I've seen those on the low board all day long. You know, and you know, Schneider does the math for us. You know, I mean, we still got to take out our insurance and fuel, but you know, when you know how much you average in fuel, you know, my fixed costs after the initial 35% plus fuel is usually about $1,000 a week. It used to be around $700-800, but because of the higher fuel prices, it's been a little bit higher. I've been running a few more heavy loads here lately too, and that's what I said. You know, with the Peterbilt, I was always taking light loads because I knew the truck didn't have long for this world, and I was right. Turbo went out on it. However, it doesn't matter. You know, what good is that $2,275 if my fixed costs are $1,800? You know, minus $1,800, that's $475. You know, so that's my message. All you guys jumping ship at Schneider, you're in for a reality check. Some guys are going to handle it, some guys aren't. If I had to go back to Landstar, or if I had to go to Traveloco, or, you know, like trucking or something like that, I think I could do well now. Because I'm 3 years into this versus, you know, the 6 months into it when I was still learning at Landstar. So know your lanes, know your freight, know your limitations, know how to schedule. You know, the only advantage you have at Schneider, if you go to Landstar or some of the other places, is that you know how to self-dispatch. So, own authority. Own authority is a lot more work. And you got it, that was the other thing that was said in this Periscope was, you know, this guy was bragging about how high dollar these Amazon loads are at Landstar. And he gets 70% because it's a power only move. They're using Amazon trailers. And he said he did the math, and he said he makes more money, or no, he would only make $130 more per load if he had his own authority versus, you know, the 70%. I thought, well, how is 100% over? How is an extra 30% only $130? It didn't make sense to me. It was bad. I don't know what kind of math it was. So I did you know, it's just, here's the thing, man. All these guys bragging about these high dollar loads, again, I hope you're putting money aside. You know, you got guys out there, you know, bragging about their $2,500 polished jobs and you know, taking a week off to do certain things, you know, not realizing that, you know, we're doing the Christmas freight right now, people, right now. And your truck still costs money, whether it's moving or not. That's the problem. You know, everybody's like, well, if you're not rolling, you're not earning. Well, that's true. But if you're not rolling, it's taking money. You know, even a paid off truck still costs money sitting there because you got insurance and everything else. That never stops. If I take 3 weeks off here, guess what? My first settlement I get is going to have 3 weeks worth of fixed costs taken out. So now we will go to comments, and I'm way behind because you guys have been chatting it up. I appreciate everybody coming in here and watching. Holy crap. All right, guys. Oh, the key to success is having a positive attitude. You're right, David. Lady Gann, Trucker Steven, PA. Positive attitude can do wonders in a bad situation. Yeah, because, you know, like I said, you know, like take a person of faith. It's easy to have faith when things are going right for you, right? I would have discussions with Christians all the time. So what kind of hardships have you endured that you can sit there and tell me that you have a strong faith? And they're like, well, you know, I don't know. You know, it's like the true faith is measured by the hardships. All life struggles, and it's through the struggling that we learn. And sometimes it's hope, faith, and what's up here. That's the only thing that's keeping me from going under. Robert Gonzalez, gross. Yeah, I've already read that. Cobra says, I think Traveloka is overrated. I've done my research on them. Coach is overhyped. Sit just a bit. Cobra, you want to know something interesting? Coach doesn't hype them anymore. I think he's on his way to getting his own authority. I think he's found the light there. Matt Grady, I like working for the small company that I do, 28 trucks. That's great, Matt. Cobra, Zebra 66, I'm assuming that means Cobra. Coach gets paid to recruit, dude. Yep, we all know that. Big Rich, in the current climate and rates and the hurricanes, I think this winter won't be too bad, honestly. You're right, Rich. The projections for the rates are really good for the next 2 years. However, it's like the stock market. One little thing could change that. And I think that's why fuel is so high right now, is because of all the issues that happened in Houston. However, it's also because they know that they could charge more. I don't know what I'm trying to say. John Capone, does Schneider have a lot of direct shippers? Yes. Yes, John. That's what makes this program work, because we have a ton of drop trailers. I don't know what the exact number is, but I know it's a 5-digit number. Big Yeti, Cobra, I'm at Traveloka. Coach is an idiot, but the money is here. Is good. I was at Schneider. I bought my own truck and I'm not leasing. I'm doing more than fine. Big Yeti, you know why you're doing good? Because you've taken your costs and you've lowered them. I know that whatever truck you got is not as high as the lease payment that Traveloka is offering. Nothing against Traveloka and their lease payment, you know, because I know that Kevin and Ollie's doing all right. It's hard to say how good Will and Ike are doing, but yeah, you're reducing the costs. So as long as you're preparing for the winter, man, I have no problem with anybody working at Traveloka. This is not a anti-Traveloka, video thing. Matt Grady, thank goodness ethanol plants I haul to stay going 100% all year, no slowdown. High will never be like it was last week. Constant variable. So as drivers should take the summer to hibernate? Dennis, I'm not sure what you're asking. No, summertime is when you make hay. Because I know guys at Landstar, what they would do is they work their butts off, and then from Thanksgiving to New Year's, they wouldn't work at all. And I'd like to do that, but, like I said, these trucks still cost money whether you're sitting or not. The Stark's words, winter is coming. Yeti, Cobra the trucker says, Yeti, I hear ya, but Coach makes it seem like his company is the best, and down talks company drivers like we ain't shit. Pisses me off sometimes. Big Yeti says he pisses everyone off. I think the thing with Coach is that Eric Cornelius is always having to get on to him about the numbers. But I really don't see, I think, if you guys notice, none of them are recruiting anymore. I think there should be talk about a company owned by the employees, which would be mostly the drivers. There are many big corporations that are employee owned and they can do very well, says Henry Bob. Cobra says, I'm going to start my own live feed about you can be a successful company driver. Cobra, let's bring up that point. Same principle, man. Come winter time as a company driver, if you have a dispatcher, you know, miles become less. Weather becomes a factor. And I was a successful, quote unquote, company driver because, number one, I always got along with my dispatcher. And it was kind of a scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of a deal. And, you know, and when it came time, when times got tough, like with my family, my dispatcher got me home. When it came time for gigs, my dispatcher got me home. But then at the other times, I worked my ass off for him. And so you can be a successful company driver. It's all up here, man. It's all the attitude. You know, if you have a crappy attitude, you know, you won't do anything. ELDs rhymes with orange. ELDs will take thousands of trucks off the road. Paper loggers who cheat will not be able to work 100 hours, thus thousands of trucks will be idle. Supply and demand will raise rates. You are right, Rhymes, but it won't last forever. Look, I'm looking forward to higher rates, you know, because eventually it'll bleed over to us. You know. John Capone, we had the same problem. We were always working the low board. Yeah, John, you know, here's the thing with Landstar. It's like I had 4 days off, but I really could only enjoy 2 of them because the other 2 were spent on the low board. If that's what you're talking about. Does the Big Orange have wheelbase requirements? Yeah. I forget what it is. But, you know, we got guys over here with W9s and 379s, and they do all right. They just don't want you to have one of them super ARI sleepers. So, I think 300 you might be okay, Matt. I don't know. You got to be able to haul 45,000. That's their biggest thing. I love seeing my own numbers on my truck, says David. Yeah, David. Everybody keeps telling me, get my own authority, get my own authority. I don't know, man. I still have trouble saving fuel receipts. I don't know if I'd have room someplace y'all go. Yeah, Matt. If you have an $800 a week truck payment plus all your fuel and insurance, makes a big difference compared to someone like me who has fixed costs of $22.50 per month. Yep. Big Yeti, you got it figured out, man. Stu Stewart, Steve, does Big O ever do fuel surcharge to you? Yes. They separate it. 100% of the fuel surcharge goes to me, and it's itemized. So if a load, say, like I just did a load that paid $800, I think fuel surcharge was $190. So add those 2 numbers together. That's what I made on that load. TJ, I wish I could give you a wrench, but I can't from here. Everyone runs differently. Some will succeed and some will fail. Well, Big Yeti, my thing is that a lot of the Schneider guys that have gone over in droves, based off of what Will and Ike were telling them, plus the negativity that seems to be running rampant here, I'm afraid that maybe they don't know what they're getting into. See, that's the thing. Ike didn't know what he was getting into. He admits that on Patreon. I'm not singling him out. I'm not making fun of him. You know, because I actually got along with the guy. I actually chatted with him at the truck show, you know. He and I listened to a lot of the same music, and he appreciates my music, so that's cool. However, he admits in his Patreon video that Will misled him on the numbers. So, how many of these guys went over there based off of what Will and Ike were saying in these recruiting videos? You know, in Trucker's Coach as well. John Cater, come December, it's going to be slow freight, e-logs, and no parking equals complete fail. End of story. Dennis Smith, I'm seeing some better checks come through as a company driver since I started watching you Snow Road. Thanks. Well, you're welcome, Dennis. What are the age requirements for trucks? John, over here at Schneider, if that's what you're asking about, is 2010 or newer. When I came, check this out. When I came over here in my Peterbilt, it was 2009 Peterbilt. I got in here. I was the last orientation of the year, December 26th, And January 1st, they made it where it had to be 2010. I grandfathered it in just in time. Did Ike go tits up, David? No, I don't know. As far as I know, he's still over at Traveloco. And he he's made his videos public again. Satellite Jack, I'm late to the party. What are we preparing for? Also, can you play Wasted Years? Love that tune, best intro ever. Actually, I can play the intro on guitar. I think I did it on my guitar video. We're preparing for winter. We're preparing when times get tough. Because this $4 mile freight ain't going to last forever. Daniel says, me either doing a 4-hour here at Manuka, Illinois. Bree says, hi all. I am caught up, everybody. Imagine that. So anyways, if you guys got any more questions, cool. If not, I'll end this video here. Every single one of my live videos, like, well, I gotta go, and then like 20 minutes later, I finally end the video. So I'm not gonna say that this time. Look, there's a lot of negativity right here, right now. Daniel says he's uploading. Everybody go to Daniel's channel, Daniel Adame. You said your name in one of your videos, and I forget how to pronounce it. He's using some apnea music in his newest video. Big Joe, yes, this is staying up. Dennis Smith, can you end the video? No. David Never says, I don't think flatbed freights will dip. David, here's the thing, man. You're in a good position. Here's why. Because hurricanes cause damage, whether it be water or wind. And how do, we repair houses, we repair streets, we repair all the goods that go on a flatbed. So you're fixing to make bank for a while. And you might have to go to a bad area, you might have to go to some rough spots, but for the most part, you're not just looking for job sites, you're looking for disaster repair. So you're in a good position. With fuel prices spike, that fuel surcharge is huge in your net numbers. Any broker agent that includes it, whether you Landstar or even your own authority. You're right. And if you keep your foot out of it, you'll make some money. All right, John. See you later. Flood. Yeah, he's flooding. See what you started, Pale Rider? You got just the way you said it last time. Oh, okay. Adami. Okay. It'll be up in about 40 minutes or less, says Daniel. So everybody check out his channel. Augustine. How long does it take at SFI after getting a truck from them to switch companies? I don't know. I know that Snyder Finance has a lot of requirements. You got to have all your ducks lined up in a row, and you got to have a certain amount of money in the bank. And it's even worse if you get your own authority with the Snyder Finance truck. I couldn't tell you that, to be honest with you. There's, I know that if I think Anthony Newhouse, he's the Snyder Finance guy that took his truck over to Traveloco. He probably explains it in one of his videos. David Never says, have a good night. Remember, don't sell yourself short on getting your own numbers. I got to get a few more ducks lined up before I even consider that. 3 months, says TJ. Here's the thing. Go buy your own truck, don't lease, says Big Yeti. Yeah, Anthony has a few videos on it, so I got that right. Cool. My AC's not. Man, it's warm tonight, man. It's like, I'm sitting here in St. Louis, and there's like absolutely no breeze coming into the truck. Normally I try to sit with the truck with the windows open, hence the fly swatter. I got flies in here. And it's like 90 degrees. Humidity's like at a full tilt. And yeah, I had to turn on the AC early. You can see how hard it's blowing with the banner. where are you hiding at tonight? Gary Compton. Gary, I'm in St. Louis, Edwardsville Yard. Hopefully away from any rioting. John Cater, Steve, do you think parking will be a nightmare after December, or do you think it will work itself out? No, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to suck. You're going to see tickets written for ramps, people parking on the ramps. And for companies like Schneider and Landstar that don't let you park on ramps or on the side of the road, it's going to be even worse. Parking is going to get bad, folks, and it might be worth it to start running at night. So, Cobra asks, I heard tanker drivers make good money there at Schneider. Is it true? I have no idea, Cobra. I've yet to talk to a Schneider IC on the tank side. I know that the majority of them live around Chicagoland. Everybody subscribe to Big Yeti. He's a Schneider guy that went over to Travel Loco. He got his own truck. Hazel says, watch out for the riders in St. Louis. I'm kind of on the outskirts of town here, so we're kind of isolated here, so that's good. And then I'm just going to take the top loop. I'm going to Kansas and go visit Dorothy. I would have been there, but I got stuck in a dock for over 5 hours. What's up, Pale Rider? Well, Gary, if you still come through, I'll still be here in the morning. I'm going to try to leave here before rush hour. Where are you heading there, Gary? And also, are you going to make the Joplin Truck Show? Dennis says, I run nights, just bring plenty of Red Bull. Dennis, that would explain why you're all over the place on the live feeds a lot. Man, that Red Bull, dude, that stuff's nasty, man, because if you take too many of those, man, it screws up your nervous system. You can definitely OD on that stuff. And here's just a little health tip, okay? The sugar in that is counterproductive to the caffeine, because the sugar causes a crash, and the caffeine brings you up. So next thing you know, you're tired but wide awake at the same time. That's a crappy feeling. Gary says those tanker drivers are hard to find, ask questions to. Yeah, and a lot of them aren't talking anyways, because the choice program on the tank side is still new. And like I said, if you're up in the Gary OC, Gary, Indiana OC, that's where I see the majority of them. Every now and then I'll see one here, but it's usually a company side guy. Now, I know other food grade tank companies that make killer money. So, nailed it. That's funny. Like that girl. If you can get close to 9 miles per gallon and fuel prices go over $3 a gallon and you get 100% of real fuel surcharge, fuel is pretty close to paid for. You get to the point with high mileage that you want higher fuel price. That's right, Stu. You can't base your whole business off of it, but it's definitely helping pay for the gas, so to speak. Gary says, head to Oklahoma, just got stopped in Effingham. Okay. I wonder if he got that load that I was looking at. There was a load to Oklahoma I was looking at, and I almost took it. But the times didn't work out just right. So I've got a load going from here, well, not from here, but from Indy to Kansas, then Kansas to Arkansas, and then Arkansas hopefully home. So I got to get the truck in the shop. Zero sugar Red Bull. No. Diet drinks are bad. Bad. Cobra says, dude, I think we should battle on snoring. I'm known to wake up the neighbors. Yeah, man. Kate, is it Kaislin that no, who was it that had the 160 times an hour? Pale Rider's picking up an Indy tomorrow for Oklahoma City. Well, I'll be on 70 before you get to 44 there. Yes, Gary, it was. Dude, I think I know where you went, and I suspected that was going to happen, and I was right, wasn't I? 5-hour load time, because I've done that load before. See, that's the cool part about Schneider, man. You network with the other drivers, and you can figure out what loads you're going to wait on and what loads not. And I saw that load on the board, and I thought, you know what? There was a customer I went to in Fort Wayne that took 5 or 6 hours to unload. I ended up having to spend the night there. And luckily, it was an open window on the other side. And sure enough, man, Gary proved that I was right on that load. Yeah, okay, Caslin, 160 times an hour. So Cobra, we got a challenger here, man. It sucked being parked in that building for that long. It got hot, I bet. Oh, is it one of those inside the dock places? That would suck. I hate those, man. I hate them. Especially, you know, caves too, man. You go into a cave, you can't run your APU, you can't run the truck, and there's no air going through there. So the Geospace cave was the worst. Been there in Fort Wayne, Derek says. It sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Good old Fort Wayne. I've watched other ICs on Periscope talk about that place in Fort Wayne. So a lot of times I'll avoid certain loads just from what town they're from. Cool Breeze, late checking in. Alright guys, my message is done. It's over with. I'm not hating on any company. And I'm not saying that if you go to Landstar, Traveloka, or someplace like that, you're going to come crawling back. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying prepare for winter. Prepare for when times get tight. That's all I'm saying. We have to do that here too. But, you know, I run just as consistent as in January as I do in June. I really do. Last December, it got a little bit rough because I tried to be home all the time. So, got them chains ready. What's chains, man? Dude, I don't have chains on the truck, but if I had to do that, if I had to get on, I'd get the Auto Socks. Auto Socks, it's where it's at. But see, dry van freight, they don't care, so I ain't chaining up for anybody. Daniel says, I'm not going to like winter with my truck, it's going to suck. Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're owner-operators, start preparing for the winter because, you know, wintertime temperatures screw with these trucks. I know that when you reach that time of year where it's like in the 40s at night and in the 70s in the day, that makes all the sensors go screwy. It makes all the wires get all messed up for a minute. It screws with sensors and all that stuff. So, in fact, one time, I think I slept in St. Louis, no, Vandalia, Illinois. And I left and my truck wasn't governed anymore. You know, this is back when I was a company guy. I was like, sweet, I could do 70 miles an hour. And then I realized I had no Jake brake and no cruise control. So I pulled into the next truck stop, went in to get a cup of coffee, and then when I came back out, restarted the truck, everything was fine. But it was that cold, it was that weird moisture weather that kind of did that. Don't need chains in Laredo, LOL. Yeah, see, here's what I'm doing. There's a certain YouTuber, I'm not going to name him, but I've been networking with him, and he lives in the South. And so I'm like, hey, man, you're going to tell me all the cool spots in the South, right? Because he hates the winter as well. And, you know, I don't want to put his name out there just in case he wants to keep that a secret. Cool Breeze says, have you seen Trucker Logic video about Ike Canal, Coach, Little Dog, funny as hell, great editing, by the way. Cool Breeze, whoever's editing those videos, there's two things going on. Number one, they're really good at editing. Number two, all the obscure movie moments that person uses. Like, how much time I mean, it's like he knows exactly what movie clips to put in where. That is a skill in and of itself. This guy must not have a job. He must watch a lot of movies or have like a photographic memory, because the obscure movie stuff is kind of amazing. It's like, wow, that movie clip fits the scenario that you're talking about perfectly. So, Bree says, I heard it snowed in Texas, so be careful out there. Derek's like, what are chains? Yeah, I don't know, man. Cool breeze, too much drama, says Kaislin. He's the Rain Man of editing, says Clyde. That's good. That's good, man. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. You know, here's the thing, man. We're all playing the same game. It's just different rules for different people. Carlos says, do you watch Dread Pirate Trucker? I try. I get 5 minutes into it, and I try. I'm not going to dog the guy. Here's the thing with Dread Pirate, okay? I think it's a scary notion that this dude is in charge of 40 tons of death going down the road. That's my opinion. He is an example of what not to do with companies. He's already quit. Last I looked, he already quit his company. He had that run-in with Averett. He definitely burned his bridge at CalArc. And Swift kicked him off the property when he tried to get his job back. You know, and I'm not going to fault the guy. You know, he has issues, and I kind of feel sorry for him. But you know what? If what he's doing doesn't affect me, then, you know, I'm a live and let live person. With that being said, he's got double the subscribers I do. So somebody's watching him. And it's kind of like a car accident. You know you shouldn't look. You know you probably want to look, and then you look and you're like, yep, that was bad. And you feel kind of bad afterwards. You feel like you've watched a bad adult film or something. He is funny, Carlos. He is. Just not all there. He works for a different company every time he puts content out. Cool Breeze, yeah. You know, I think my favorite video of his is when he bought those women's sunglasses. He bought women's sunglasses and walked around with them on for like a day or so before he figured it out. And I gotta give him props, man. Not everybody would admit that, but he admitted it, man. I gotta give him props for that. Are you not seeing my comments again? There must be something wrong with YouTube. Daniel, I don't know. What are you saying, Daniel? It's because of the dead axle. I got it. Already struggles in the rain and fathom. Oh, okay. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Daniel. You got one of them dummy axles. You know, Transland bought a bunch of them trucks with those dummy axles. They all got stuck. A lot of the rear ends had to be rebuilt. So yeah, Daniel, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to skip over you. We just got on about Dread. Trucker Steve says I'm a recovering closet DPT fan. But yeah, those dummy axles are I don't know. It's one of those things that probably sound good on paper, but I think all it does is save like 500 pounds on the weight of the tractor, and it's not worth it. So I apologize, Daniel. You should see my cousin who's a trucker. If you think dread's bad, my cousin is a certified nut. LOL, you did it twice. A friend of mine who's no longer over here, but he was a Snyder IC, he said he came across these two other Snyder guys that always run together. He said they do crazy stuff, like they've been known to throw cans of food at each other on the road. It's like, there's some crazy people out here, people. But yeah, it's, you never know what you're gonna get, man. Life is like a box of chocolates. Somebody said that, right? LOL, it's okay. Okay, cool, Daniel. Don't take it personally. I know that sometimes, like, Jeffrey will do a live feed and there's a person asking a question, and I know the answer, but they don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from Jeffrey. And finally, sometimes I have to point out to Jeffrey, hey, answer this dude's question, because it's easy to miss out on the comments sometimes. So, by the way, guys, I'm cooking dinner. You know what I'm having for dinner? I'm having, like, I bought this chunked up beef, like stew meat, and I put it in with some green beans, and that's what's in the oven right now. I'm doing pretty good this week on my food intake. Yeah, Forrest Gump. Yep. Indiana Jack. What about him? What about him, Dennis? Alright, guys. This video is up to an hour. Thanks for watching. Do I have to say all the click on the bell and all that crap? No, guys, I really appreciate it. I wouldn't do these live videos if they weren't fun, interactive. I don't know it all. I don't know anything. Okay. Oh, we got a real question here. Mr. Arturo, do you think it's possible to make 80,000 net first year with Snyder IC on my own truck? Yes. Wait, no, whoa, hold on. See, net numbers. It depends on how you run, Mr. Arturo. It is possible. It is possible. It depends on how much you want to be home. I know guys that are netting a lot more than me because they're running more miles. Gary Compton, if he's still in here, he runs a lot of the long haul stuff, and he's probably making more money than me, but he's driving a lot more than I am. With your own truck, definitely, because you know your costs are going to be lower than a Snyder Finance truck. So 80,000. I don't know, man. That's a question for Jeffrey Like, dude. You know, maybe not your first year, but eventually when you hang on to the, you know, when you get a hang of the system, then it might be possible. So, and I'm just being honest. Leaving out of your truck, that increases everything. Jess, what's up? Good to see you, sir. Living out of your truck should be able to make 100K, says Kaislin. Living out of your truck, man, that's definitely, if you've got no bills at home and you're living out of the truck, then yeah, it is possible. You know, here's the thing, man. If you just chase the money here and just pick the highest paying loads, and you didn't care where you went, you'll bank. You know, most of the guys limit themselves here because they're picky on where they go. So if you don't mind, like right now, there's a load on the board that is the highest paying load I've ever seen here, and it's going to Washington from, I think, somewhere in Ohio. Maybe it was Indiana. And it's a really good rate for long haul freight, man. It really is. Juan says, sorry I'm so late. Say hi, Snorler, but I was driving through LA to Irwindale. Okay. What's up, Juan? Thank you, Daniel. Skeeter says, my cousin left his trailer in the hood of Memphis while he went to Tunica, Mississippi to the casinos. When he came back, his trailer was broke into and most of the meat was gone. That's a bad deal. Dennis says he's going wherever Snorler's going. I think I just saw lightning. That'd be awesome if there was a thunderstorm. I love thunderstorms. Did you see the new Mac Anthem? Looks interesting. Lots of Volvo influence. Asked Trucker Steve. Yeah. Well, you know, Volvo and Mac are the same company. I think they look beefy. They look tough. I like to know what their performance rating is, though. What kind of engines are they putting in those things? Those Macs. You know, what's funny is one time there was a guy on the CB griping about the new drivers. He said that the only real trucks were Peterbilt, Kenworth, and Max. He said Volvos were crap. Then I had to tell him on the CB radio the very bad news that Volvo owns Mac, and that's who makes Mac now. He cursed me out, and I think I ruined his day. I think I peed in his Cheerios. Storm south of St. Louis. Don't know where it's going. Decent breeze. Okay, cool. Mr. Arturo, thanks for all the info, man. Much appreciated. Yeah, I try to answer when I can. You know, just don't be like, you come over here and you make 78,000, and you're like, man, Snorler lied to me, man. Don't do that, because I don't lie, man. I'm not going to inflate numbers. I really don't share a whole lot of my numbers, because here's the thing, man. If you see a driver that's bragging about how much money he's making, oh, I made this much money, man, I'm doing awesome, man. You know, that tells you a lot about his character. You know, it's the quiet ones, the ones that don't brag, that are doing well. Those are the ones you want to listen to. Oh yeah, man, this is total lightning going on here. Sweet. Maybe we'll cool things down. So my APU's not working its butt off. For reals, man, guys, I gotta go. My phone's about to die. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll leave this video up. And, you know, keep between the ditches. And I appreciate everybody watching. See ya.